Hello and a very warm welcome along to Royal Ascot. We are live here for our Festival 5 as we look ahead to another cracking day here. Day 3, our team is slightly depleted here on the preview show, but Jamie, we're going to crack through, have a little look at if we can find a few angles into today and hopefully a few winners as well.
Yeah, we've sacked Seb on day 1 when he said, I don't know, to one of the questions, then we had to say goodbye to him. Bit of rain around this morning, set to continue a little bit, but we're set for a really big day, aren't we?
Yeah, perhaps not as much rain as we were expecting overnight. Just 2 millimetres had fallen, but it has continued to pour here throughout the course of the morning. But that will do little to dampen enthusiasm for today, because it could be a history-making day, with Stradivarius looking to equal Yeats' record with a 4th Gold Cup at 4:15, and few will forget how dominant he was in this race last year. He's had a perfect prep on the run-in. The Speedy Juveniles at 2:30 in the Norfolk Stakes. That will be our first port of call. And then tricky handicaps, the order of the day towards the back end today. The Britannia, the King George V and the Buckingham Palace Stakes as well over the 7-furlong straight course. What a day we have in prospect. An obvious place to start is with Stradivarius. Banker or blowout, Jamie? Well, I think it's been 2-1 so far for the bankers and blowouts already this week. How strong a favourite do you see Stradivarius?
Well, he's around about even money at present, but I think he probably should be odds on for this assignment. There's a statue of Yeats behind us in the paddock, and that's the horse who he's bidding to emulate today. Some new challenges, some horses like Trueshan who actually beat him before, so it's something different in there. But Stradivarius' skill set is such, Gina, that he is so good and so speedy at the end of those long-distance races that I can't see a challenger in there, even amongst the new ones, who's able to beat him today, so banker.
And John Gosden has said the more rain that falls, the more his chances compromised. But let's not forget, it was quite soft when he won here last year in imperious fashion.
The most impressive he's ever been in a Gold Cup was on that testing ground. Now, of course, there are different rivals in play today, but by the same token, is there nothing that this horse can't do when it comes to long-distance staying events? I think that he is a banker of the day.
Banker of the day. He's a banker of the day for me as well, although he does face some new challenges. Subjectivist for the Mark Johnson team, triple-handed for Aidan O'Brien as well, but we are sticking with Stradivarius. The Frankie factor then is going to be key in the Gold Cup aboard Stradivarius, but what about his other rides on the day? He is, of course, Royal Ascot's leading rider, made it 75 yesterday, and he's looking for more today.
Yeah, and on this day 2 years ago, he had the first 4 winners and came within a whisker of making it 5. So will history repeat itself? He's got some good handicap chances, principally Mithras, who's vying for favouritism in the Britannia, and First Light, who's amongst the market leaders for the King George V. But Gina, he'd be delighted if he had 2 winners, but if you asked him privately, he only wants 1 today, and that, as long as that 1 is Stradivarius.
And I was quite surprised to hear the comments. You always think of him cool as a cucumber, been doing it for years. He said he's nervous about today, as he was for Enable's a bid to try and win a 3rd arc. The pressure could just won't get to him, but he's definitely feeling the adrenaline. And
in their relationship, there's been times when Stradivarius has needed Frankie to be at his best, and Frankie needs Stradivarius to be his best. But if Frankie's feeling those nerves a little bit, he's going to need a peak form Stradivarius to help him out.
Before that, though, we have a really fascinating renewal of the Hampton court, and the question we are posing is Mohaafeth the real deal? Well, he looked it when running away with a listed contest at Newmarket on just his 3rd start. That set him up potentially for a tilt at the Derby. Withdrawn at the 11th hour, Jamie, and you'd think calmer waters today. If he is the real deal, he should be beating this opposition.
And you'd imagine there would be a little pang within William Haggis and the team that the Derby was won by a 16-1 shot with a 50-1 shot in second, and that is just a temptation of who should we have done it. But if you're skipping the Derby, he's got to do it today, and today's the day we find out whether he's all brightness and no heat, or whether there is some heat in there. But 2 significant things: the past and the future sometimes inform the present. The past is that he was 2nd favourite for the Derby before pulled out, and we spoke to Angus Gold last week, didn't we? And he's already got one eye on the Eclipse next up for this horse, so he's got to go and do it well today.
Got to mention the rain, though. He was taken out of the Derby on account of dead ground, I think, rather than anything too testing. how much rain would have to fall today for them to be scratching their heads and thinking, do we take him out?
Yeah, the one thing in his favour is that it's not dead ground and 12 furlongs, so this is the trip that he's used to. It still might be playing on their minds, but still, he wouldn't want much more rain, because what we've seen of him so far is that he's just a real glider through his races, isn't he? So the less rain, the better for him.
So Mohaafeth, hopefully the real deal in the Hampton court. Now, we mentioned the top jockey here at Royal Ascot. The leading trainer is, of course, Sir Michael Stoute. He almost added another victory to his incredible tally yesterday with Astro King, who was first home in his group on the near side. But could he add another today? Well, Noon Star in the Ribblesdale is the headline event, and they do not get much better pedigree-wise than this. Frank Lauder Midday. There's a couple of well-bred sorts in here up against her, but is it her time to shine, Jamie?
Yeah, I think so. And this is a horse who was 11 to 10 favourite to win the Musadora, and we were all a little bit disappointed with the fact that she finished only second, but the horse she finished second to subsequently won the Oaks by 16 lengths, which puts some reflective glory onto Noon Star. And the fact is, Gina, she's a bigger price today than she was to beat Snowfall in the Musadora, and I think that she's got the best form and still the most potential now she's going up to this trip.
So Galileo Midday, Noon Star to shine then in the Ribblesdale. She does have fillies like Divinely up against her. Galileo out of Red Evian, a full sister to Found, so she's in very good company in that contest, which is our third race on the card. And the final thing is, it gets tricky towards the back end of the card with three really hot handicaps, handicap hot shots. What are we going for here? It's going to be difficult. Again, pace puzzles, draw puzzles. Britannia, one of the hardest races all year, I'd venture to say, but have you picked out a couple of handicap hot shots?
Well, you like one in the Britannia. Let's start with yours and then I'll join you.
Yeah, I like Radeberg. I think the more rain that falls, the better his chance will be. I thought he was really impressive last time at Thirsk, and he's gone up £11. The handicap has not taken any chances, but there could be any amount of improvement in a horse like that, as there could be with half the field, unfortunately, Jamie.
No,
I know he's held in very high regard.
And he's also got a high draw, which you don't know, but at least he's on one of the extremes. He's drawn in 24. Next to him is Liffey River. That's the horse who I've backed for the Britannia, Joseph O'Brien. Highly regarded. He ran in the Champion Juvenile Stakes last year and actually did really well last time over 7 furlongs, suggesting that a mile is what he wants. So I've had a few quid on Liffey River, but as you mentioned, not only that, but the King George V handicap are just replete with potential group horses in there.
Yeah, and the more rain that falls, again, will see Liffey River as well. So my nap of the day, we're going all in on Radeberg in the Britannia, as if it's easy to find a winner in that one. I also really like a horse earlier on the card, Jamie, in the Norfolk, called Twilight Jet for Michael O'Callaghan for the juveniles. I really fancied his chance in the Windsor Castle. I think it's interesting that they've moved him for this. He was a very good breeze-up horse on firm ground at the breeze, and he's only had soft ground since. So keep an eye on him in the first race.
And I'm going to go for the first race as well, because I think collectively we want to be against the Wes Ward and Aidan O'Brien horses, because if you'd followed them so far in the 2-year-old races, you wouldn't have won any money. So I like Project Dante. Bon Chairman ran so well for 4th in yesterday's 2-year-old race, and Brian Smart, same stable. And Project Dante was good in time terms, was good in form terms at York, and he's drawn high as well. So I think Project Dante is a real live wire in that opening Windsor Castle.
We're trying to find you...
Norfolk today.
Norfolk. No, I confused you with Twilight Jet and the Windsor Castle. But there is our naps for today. Fingers crossed we can find a few big price winners here on the Festival 5 as we look ahead to another wonderful day here live from Royal Ascot. Not quite the same conditions we've been enjoying for the first 2 days, but there will still be racegoers here in their droves to enjoy it. 5 o'clock Radeberg for me, 6 to 1 now. Project Dante, 7 to 1 at 2:30. What do you fancy? Let us know. Get in touch with us via all the usual social media channels, and do join us live on Sky Sports Racing here on day 3 of Royal Ascot.